Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm going to attempt to show you how to change the strings on your guitar in one take, no editing. Then you get something that's a little bit realer and more real. I have three tools that I think are going to come in handy while you're doing this. A microfiber cloth, a little toothbrush. I have this tool here, which is contains wire cutters, okay, which we'll talk about a little bit later on, and some pliers and some other little bits and pieces. Let's make it 4 tools. I've got some lemon oil here as well. You need to be careful with lemon oil. But I find it's actually quite a handy cleaner. I don't use any detergents or anything like this on wood to clean it. I try and do most of the cleaning with just the microfiber cloth and the brush, and I'm lousy at cleaning my guitars and keeping them clean. So when I do change the strings, I want it done properly. I'm putting on Diageo lights, okay, these Phosphor bronze light strings. I'm going to do some reviews on guitar strings. These are perhaps my favourite strings. There's another set that give them a run for their money. So the first thing, guys, I will always do is just strip off the capo, anything off the guitar, give yourself a little bit of space to work in, and then all I do is I just loosen off all of the strings, okay? So believe it or not, there's probably all sorts of expertise here, and I'm not an expert on this, and lots of people will be chipping in saying, you're doing this wrong, you're doing this wrong. You're suddenly releasing all the pressure on your guitar on the neck, and you're going to snap your neck. Well, okay, whatever. There'll be experts out there beyond me that will think of 1,000,001 things that I'm doing wrong here, but this is just how I've done it. Many years ago, probably about 25 years ago, I had a guitar teacher. And he was really knowledgeable on changing strings and told me all sorts of things you shouldn't do, even down to chopping the strings with wire cutters, because it like stresses the string and like cracks it and fractures it, he was saying, and it affects the sound. But it's just beyond my level. So what I do, guys, is I loosen all of them off so that I can just unwind them first of all, and I take all of the strings off of this head here. So I'll just do them one at a time, and I might edit this bit out because you get the general idea. Okay, so let's just do the first one. So that's loose enough now. We'll take that off, and I'll just drop that down there. Same with the next one. I'll probably speed it up. That's what I'll do. Speed the footage up. Okay, and then this one, dropping them all out of the way of the guitar. Some guitars are very valuable as well, guys, so you want to kind of be careful about even the strings smacking on the lacquer and scratching it might upset some people. If you've got a guitar that's that precious to you, that you're worried about that sort of stuff, then that's not a healthy thing for me. The coolest thing about your guitar is play it and put little love dinks in it. And don't get upset if you damage your guitars. Although nowadays I have one guitar and it's got loads of love dinks and bruises in it and things like that. If I had some really expensive immaculate guitar, maybe I'd be different as well. So there we go. Right, that's that one. And then this one, the final one. Okay. Be a good little invention so that you could stick onto the key and press the button and it whizzes it off. I bet you it already exists. I'll search for it. I'll search for it. If I can find it, I'll stick it in the description. Right, okay. That's the first step, guys. So all the strings are off the guitar, and I'm keeping the strings away so they're not smacking on the body. The next thing is now to take the pegs out. Now I would avoid using any pliers on these pegs because well, some of them are ebony, aren't they? But most of them are plastic. Either way, if you get pliers on them, you'll scratch the hell out of them. So what I do is most of them will come out. Sometimes you'll find a pin that doesn't come out. I'm laying them out in order as well, and I'll put them back in the same order. Just one little thing that I like to do. It doesn't make that much difference, but I like to do it. You may find that some of the pins don't want to come out. I just give them a really good wiggle, and eventually they just pop and go. But these ones are playing ball, which is good. So all of the pegs are now out. Just be careful, guys. These strings, you might want to just pop them free and one at a time. So just take them out. They should all come out nice and easy. And then just take the strings and just get your guitar away from the strings. Okay, and all I do is just coil these up. The ends can be sharp. You can actually puncture your finger with these strings. They're dirty as well, you know, so probably some people won't want to handle them. Tie them up. And I throw these away. I've heard some people keep them as spare strings. These have been on my guitar for years. But I like the sound of dead strings, believe it or not. Now the main thing I need to do is just get some of the dust off underneath here with my microfiber cloth. And then what I like to do is just get in there and in there and in there and in there, and you get like dead skin building up on the inside of the fret. You can use a wooden toothpick, is quite a good thing, but even some people say, well, it's going to scratch your guitar. Things like that don't bother me, guys. But yeah, I know there's people out there that will have probably better advice than me. There is also dead skin on my guitar etched into it. This lemon oil stuff, this is probably the way to do it. So the instructions: remove the string, shake bottle well, spray 1 to 2 pumps onto a clean cloth, work dirt and grime away free without any, do not use excess oil. Okay, so fair enough. So I'm just going to put 1 or 2 squirts on a little bit of microfiber. There we go. And just work my way down these frets, just scrubbing. Hopefully you can see that up and down. These ones ain't too bad because I never play this high. Now I need to start doing it a bit more vigorously. Yeah. I'm using my nail to get into the edge of the fret. Yeah, the dirt's coming off. Just going to get a clean bit. In fact, if I do that, I'm always going to have some oil there, so I won't need to keep topping back up. I'll just bring you in, guys, so you can see what I'm doing. This lemon oil sort of also cleans as well. My nails in there, just getting that grease and grime out. Let's put that back. And just periodically change to a new bit, a new squirt. Keep going. That, just wipe off any excess. That gives me a really nice clean fretboard. There's a little bit of dead skin there. That's where it's around this bit, around the sort of this area here is where obviously most of the build-up's going to be, because you're playing most of your chords there. Okay, I've got a little bit of dust here. If there's any like crap, if you pardon my language, any stuff, dead skin in there, you can just use this little brush, just a toothbrush, soft toothbrush, where I snap the head off. It comes in handy. And around here, again, any dust, I just wipe around it. That's it. If you've got a maple neck guitar, do not use this lemon oil. Obviously, if you've got lacquer on your guitar, the lemon oil is less beneficial, but it's just a good, mild cleaner. And I'm just wiping the back of the neck behind here. That's it. And now we're ready to put our strings on, more or less. You see, it's looking nice and clean. Just give the guitar a little wipe down here. Over here I've got traces of lemon oil. for this guitar is all, it's kind of starting to wear a little bit, a tiny bit, but it's worn that little decal off. That went ages ago. And now it's starting to go down here and there's little surface scratching. One of those things, whenever you see people with holes in their guitars here, guys, a lot of times they put them in themselves. I tell you, it takes some doing to scratch a hole through a guitar with a plastic plectrum. Literally takes some doing. And some of the holes, I've seen where there's holes down here, you just can't do it unless people are sanding it away, you know, or using tools to rip it away and then sanding it to making it look like wear. There's no way you can put holes down here. This guitar I've had for 25 years, roughly about 25 years. Is that right? No, about 23 years, something like that. And I've played it a ton. And I'm not even close to putting a hole in that wood. There's a lot of jiggery pokery goes on with all that sort of stuff, in my opinion. Deliberately aging the guitar. Don't like that. You know, I like it when it's warm through playing. Everyone does, but don't fake it. Okay. So these are all colour coded, guys. So you've got your first E string, you know, through to whatever. So it's important to understand where the strings go, obviously. So let's just get these out of the packet. Lovely. Oh, wash your hands as well before you clean your guitar. Before you change your strings is a good bit of advice. Right. So I tend to just, you can tell which one's the thickest string. You know, the thickest string, and it will go on the top there. So that's this one here. I'm just going to double check. Just going to double check so I don't look like an idiot. Good job I did double check. No. Hold on, that can't be right. No, that is the right one, surely. That is the right one. Yes. Okay. That's my 6th string, the brass colour. Thought for a second I might have got it wrong. Now here's the important thing, guys. What I do is I just pop this in here, and I'm looking for, I want the little nut or whatever it's called on the string to sit over the edge of this. What's going to happen is it's going to pull up. It's going to slide up and then hit underneath and lock. But I like to just put the string in the channel of the peg, so it's sitting in the channel, and then I just pop this in like that and lock that in, and then just make sure the string is locked in. When I pull it, I don't want that peg moving. Sometimes the string will move as well if you haven't got it in the right place. So just put it in the channel, just pull it and it will lock in, and then I'll move on to the next one. So we're looking for the red one now. This is our 5th string, or the A note. So again, I put the string in the channel. I push this down. Make sure the channel's lined up with the little groove here. Let me show you what I mean there. So the channel in the pin, I make sure is like that. Okay. That's important. And then I just check, oh, make sure I've got you the right way around. And I just give it a little pull to make sure it's locked. They're both locked and the pin is not going to pop out now. Okay, next we are doing black. So we're on the 4th string, D note. So same again, I'm just going to save a little bit of time here. Pop that one, the black one in. That's locked. And now we are on the G string, if you pardon the pun. And we lock that one in. So they're all locked in. And now we go to purple, which is our B string, 2nd string. Probably shouldn't put that in your mouth either, but there you go. And then finally, E string. So these are all now in. Now this is the interesting bit, guys. Winding them around, I've got to put this up so you can see it, hopefully. You can see that. Winding them around the tuning pegs. So what you can do is drop those all out the way. Now you should really get all your tuning pegs lined up so that the holes are running down that way, which it's going to make your life a little bit easier. Okay, so the first thing I do is put the string through there, and I just tighten it up, make sure it's not going to suddenly move, and then I pinch the end of the string here, and I come back about an inch, maybe an inch and a half, like that, and then I'll just wind, and I make sure that the strings are on this layout of guitar where you've got the 6 pins sticking up. I'm going to make sure that I coil it so that, well, you can see which way I'm going. This one will go anti-clockwise, this one will turn clockwise, but so the string is on the inside basically. And I just want to make sure that this string stays on top of the, as it comes round, it goes over the top of that string. If it goes the other way, then you're going to lift the string up. So that's just how I like to do it. Okay, and what I should get, hopefully, is about 2.5, maybe 3 coils on this peg. Some people like the first turn to go underneath the string, and then they let the second turn go above the string, so they lock this in so it doesn't move less. I've not found that makes that much difference, but some people I know swear by that. This will do for me. As long as I can see I've got, you know, more than one coil there, I'm fine. So about an inch. You can do a little bit more on those thicker strings, perhaps a little bit less on the thinner strings. Okay, I'm not going to chew this up now, I'm just going to get that to a reasonable tightness. These strings obviously are going to stretch as well, guys, when you first put them on. So I don't find it's worth really, well, we'll talk about it. I don't find it's worth trying to tune it that accurately at first. What I like to do is just get close and then just over tune it, leave them there to sort of stretch out, bed in, whatever you want to call it, and then a little bit later on I'll tune it up more accurately. But you're still going to need to move your tuning, aren't you? For the first couple of days you're going to need to tune it a few times. So again, second string goes in, and I pinch below the nut and I pull back about 1 inch, okay? And then I turn. It's going to lock in a second. Just make sure the string goes over the top. And there it is. Once you've done that, you're good. You can bring your hand back here if you like and just keep a little bit of pressure on. Okay, it's starting to tighten. So I've got a nice tidy sort of coil here as well. Then we go to the third string. Oh, sorry, fourth string. Right, we're in. We're in. Grab this back 1 inch and tighten. It's been such a long time since I've changed these strings. I should do it a lot more often. I like the sound of old dead strings. When strings are freshly put on, they really twang. They have a real metallic sound to them that is some people love. I don't like it so much. It's okay. but I just like them old. Right, that's those three done. Bear with me guys, I might speed this up because you're kind of getting the hang of it. Now we're swapping sides, so we're going over from this side of the head over to this side. So we just got to be careful because everything's going to be going the other way. So we're turning from the inside out. So it all turns the same way, if you see what I'm saying. I'll show you a close-up later on. So again, I get it nice and tight, pinch underneath the peg, drop back about 1 inch, and then I turn. You can see this time it's turning clockwise. I'm just holding that pinch there, and the string I want to go over the top, and it will lock into place in a second as you continue to tighten it. There we go, it's starting to tighten. Just make sure that I'm rolling the coil downwards and it doesn't sort of slip over the top. Okay, there we go. Okay, next string. Same thing again, nice and easy because they're all lined up. It's tight, pegs in good, and I drop down back 1 inch and tighten. Get over the top. If you just lift that up there to make sure it goes over and not under. Okay, there we go. Slide down. Yeah, do that a little bit quicker. Make sure as well, guys, obviously make sure all your strings are going in to the slots here, and also down here on the saddle, make sure that the strings are sitting in any slots and your saddle hasn't popped out and moved around, because that will affect all your tuning. So just little checks like that. Keep an eye on these thinner metal strings as well to make sure they've definitely coiled properly, you know, underneath each other. And these thin strings, I find they really, really stretch. Okay, we've got one left to do. So again, pull that through, check it's all good. Back 1 inch. Now I'm turning the wrong way. There we go. Just going to slot that in, it'll be easy like that. Keep a little bit of pressure there. Okay. My missus just turned up, I think. If the camera cuts, you're not going to cut. I'll be back in a second. Okay. Do you? Oh, there we go. That E string, you need even less distance. Right, I'm just going to cut the camera and I'll come back and I'll show you the last final steps. Okay guys, we're back. So we've got all of the strings on the guitar. We're out of tune. What I like to do now, and this is the controversial bit, some people like to coil these strings. I like to cut them. So like I've mentioned earlier on, if you snip them, some people say it like stress, it fractures the metal. It's like, it's not good for the string. It kind of makes sense, although I don't know. Other people don't like doing it because you can cut your fingers on them when you poke them, but I just like to cut the strings, guys. If you don't, you can coil them around into little loops, but I find them untidy. So I just use a little pair of wire cutters, and I snip them. There we go. So that's that one snipped. You do have to be careful, you know. I'm just going to put the guitar down this way so it's a bit easier. You have to be careful with your fingers on these things. I just like to, this is just how I like to do it. Be careful, make sure you don't accidentally cut the wrong bit of string. Maybe leave a little bit more. If you have problems with slipping strings on your guitars, just be careful with the E string. Now, these probably need sharpening up a little bit, but I'm just going to, there we go. So that is all I need those for. Okay, let's put that away. The next thing, so now we have a nice tidy looking guitar with the strings on it. We've got the strings in the right order. All of the pegs are down good. Now the next thing we need to do is tune it. So I'm a big fan of this little Snark tuner. I don't know if there's better ones out there now, but this has served me really well. This has one of the best tuner I've ever had. So I just pop that on the end, turn it on. So it's saying D sharp. So this is nice and easy. I'm going to put it there so hopefully you can see it as well. No, I can't see it. D sharp, I'm just going to go up to E. And all I'm going to do is just tune, slightly over tune it. Just slightly sharp on the E, so it's quite tight. And I'm going to tune it up against, I'm going to tune all the other strings against that. There you can hear it, we got it, yeah? So you can use your 5th fret. It's going to move around a lot. Here it is. And then we're going to do the G string. Don't try and play it. And then our B string. So that you always tune on the 4th rather than the 5th. And then our E string. And as we've worked our way down the strings, tuning off each subsequent one, it also tightens the neck back up and you lose your tuning on the original top one. But all I've done now is I've left all these strings. I'd leave these now for a few hours and I'd come back in and I'd just tune it back up again. You can, if you want to play it, you can just keep going. So always a good way to tune is get your top E and bottom E together. So there, we're kind of basically in tune, and we can start playing around with the guitar now. That is how you tune your guitar, guys. Let me know if there's any tips. Lots of people are more meticulous than me. I'm one of the laziest people when it comes to this. Some people will clean their hands every time they play. They'll clean their strings down when they finish playing. They'll dress their strings. You know, you get the little string dressing, which a lot of electric guitarists do. I don't really do any of that. I just play. So that's it, guys. Let me know in the comments if this was handy or if it wasn't handy. That is how I tune. That is how I change the strings on my guitar, and I've never really had any problems. But like I say, always looking for some tips from you guys as well. My recommendation, guys, if you are into acoustic guitars, is a lighter gauge. I know a normal gauge can give you a richer sound, and there's some advantages to it, but I find it's quite demanding on your left hand, especially over a lifetime. I'd recommend you play light gauge strings, and I'd recommend these D'Addario. I'm not paid by them or anything like that, you know. No surprises there. Phosphorus bronze lights, really nice, lovely, rich tone, all the cliches, but I find the durability on them is good, better than the normal Martin ones. The Martin reds I'm not too keen on, but they're cheap. Then you have the Martin phosphorus bronze, which aren't too bad actually. If you're not going to use these D'Addario, I struggle with that word, phosphorus bronze, I would suggest you check out the Ernie Ball acoustic earthwood ones that I also really like as well. I'll be doing some reviews on strings soon. If you're after these, I'll stick them in the description. Thanks for watching, guys. See you later. Bye for now.